recording from Belfer Audio Archive, one of the largest sound archives in the country. We add in a related storyline, whether it be about the performers, the songs, or something else entirely. From vaudeville to vinyl, you'll hear it all on Soundbeat. Soundbeat is produced at the Belfer Audio Archive, Syracuse University Libraries.
Expand your knowledge with the Academic Minute. Each day, travel with us around the world to learn what professors are researching within their specialties and be the first in the know. Listen as we discover the newest green innovations, research the behavioral patterns of animals, and examine how the arts are being studied today. You'll find it all on the Academic Minute.
Listen every weekday afternoon during the KSJE Evening News at 5:30. This program is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, who's expanding its services to offer low-cost blood screenings all year round, now offering walk-in convenience to get the blood tests you want when you want them. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, is available in Farmington at the hospital's laboratory and the Outpatient Diagnostic Center on 30th Street. Also in Aztec at San Juan Health Partners Family Medicine at 120 Llano Street. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. (8:36) KSJE, you're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Outside our studios here in Farmington, it is 39 degrees. Our visual radio viewers are watching a scene from Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where it is snowing fairly steadily right now at the town square at Jackson Hole. The temperature there is 27 degrees in Jackson Hole. They're expecting snow throughout the day today with a high of 30 degrees and an overnight low tonight of 5 degrees. Here in San Juan County, we are expecting maybe some snow flurries in the air today, a mix of rain and snow with a high of 50 today with scattered showers throughout the day and into tonight. Tonight's low down to 35, and then the high tomorrow will only be 35 degrees with more scattered showers and snow showers in the forecast. 18 for an overnight low on Wednesday and the high on Thursday, 32, and 9 degrees for an overnight low Thursday night with mostly sunny skies returning for Friday. I'm Scott Michlin. My guests on the radio this morning from Wellbrook, the transitional rehabilitation facility that will be opening here in Farmington in the next few months. Joining me here in the studio is Executive Director Ian Chartier. Good morning once again. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Also
here in the studio with us is Christy Ennis, who is the Community Relations Director for Wellbrook. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And thank you all for coming in to talk about this new facility, which, as we have mentioned for folks who are just joining us, has been built on the west side of town over by American Plaza and is able to be accessed from either Broadway or Pinion Streets. It's right over by the hospital, and you are offering a 50-bed transitional rehabilitation facility, and you'll be opening up here as the approvals come in from the state and everyone else, hopefully by sometime maybe April, March, April time is what we're talking about. And so we were talking a little bit about the patients that come to you. You mentioned a lot about the baby boomers and folks that, like me, that get older and maybe fall or have some issues and want to come, but you are really open for anyone 21 or over can come to your facility, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
And so that would be from an accident or from a fall or from anything, right?
Right. Workers' compensation, an automobile accident, a fall, sports injuries.
Right. All of those things.
Surgical procedures, pneumonia, not just the orthopedic piece of rehab. A lot of times you're in the hospital after an extended stay, you're just weak, and you need some rehabilitation to get your strength back.
Right. And so you're working or starting to work or reach out to local physicians and local doctors to remind them of your that you are here and will be opening soon. Is that the idea, where you'll get your patients from?
Yes.
Those types of referrals?
Yes.
Can patients also ask their doctor to refer them to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Typically, the referral process will go through the hospital. But the patients always have choice. When you're a patient in the hospital, you can choose where you want to go. You can choose how you want to go. You can choose sometimes when you want to go. More often than not, you will have a discharge planner come to you and say your physician recommends inpatient rehabilitation, that's when you start making those choices. I always encourage people, tour now before you go into a hospital. Make those choices, write them down. Let your family members know, because you never know what's going to happen.
Sure, and that can be very difficult for folks who are maybe going through whatever they're going through at the hospital, and their families, to then be faced with, or remembering that they have the right to make some of these decisions.
Absolutely. It can be very stressful, especially if you're not familiar with the healthcare processes.
Right, which seem to change
daily.
All the time. Yeah.
Hourly sometimes,
right.
Yes.
Exactly. And Ian Chartier, I mean, again, some of this patient choice is somewhat new, is it not, in the healthcare industry, giving patients more of a say in their own outcomes?
Well, I think it's they've always had choice, but I think really what they need to be more involved and actually take charge of their care. I think is something that you see throughout the industry. Obviously, empower them to be a part of the decision making versus just relying on whatever. And that's the key thing too. I think is just to make sure that for anybody out there is to ask questions, to really make a decision on what's going to work best for you.
Right. And again, to let folks know that they have that option, that opportunity to choose where they're going if they need some type of rehabilitation help.
Yeah, and like as Krista said, I think it's, we were talking earlier, if you come by and tour the place, and then I think that's, something that anybody, you never expect that to occur. But obviously I think I've been involved in too many situations where guests or patients or families are having to make an emergency decision, and it's very stressful. So to have kind of those plans ahead of time, is only going to make that, if it does occur, that much easier. And I think, as Krista was also talking, Wellbrook Transitional Rehab is not just for our seniors in the community. It's going to be an environment that's more conducive to anybody that might need any type of inpatient rehab services. It's not, too many times in my career I've had someone in their 30s or 40s in a skilled nursing facility, and it's just an uncomfortable environment for them. And this is not what we will be providing. It's really more of a, it's kind of a mix between, I would say, a hospital and a hotel is the best way to kind of, from an environmental perspective, what it looks like. So.
Right. And you mentioned these skilled nursing facilities, and there's nothing necessarily against them, because they serve an important purpose in our communities for our seniors and folks like that, but they definitely are a different place.
Yep.
Yes.
And with different patients, and patients suffering from more maybe than just a broken hip or some rehabilitation issues. Maybe there's some dementia going on, or some other issues that they're dealing with as well. Is that a fair statement, would you say?
Yeah, well, and really this is just the marketplace is changing, and the needs of our communities are really needing. Will always be a need for skilled nursing, and that's that's what I've worked in skilled nursing for 25 years, and it's this is just a little different. I guess looking at the future as far as what patients are needing out there, and that's a need that we will be meeting. We will also be able to provide a higher level of care to a higher level of acuity than most of your traditional skilled nursing facilities. So that's something that differentiates us as well.
Sure, and we talked during the break a little bit about some of the economic diversification happening in Farmington. There's a lot of talk about moving away from the traditional extractive industries and things like that. Healthcare has been one, retirees has been one, and it seems like your business fits into both of those areas. And so is that maybe a growth area that you would like to see happening here locally? More retirees, and we don't want them to break their hips necessarily, but if they do,
we
you're
want
here.
them to be, if they do need help, we're here to help them.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that's kind of why companies, our company has identified Farmington as an area that has great opportunity to, not only for us, but to be a part of this community and able to support it in those types of growths. So that anybody that is looking to come into this community has world-class facilities, healthcare facilities, because as you retire, that is something that is important.
Sure.
That you're able to get the healthcare that you need to be successful in aging. So.
And I would imagine something that these retirees look for before they make that decision to move to a community is what are the facilities that are already up and running.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
What are the services that are out there for me?
Exactly. Exactly. And real quick, in the minutes that we have remaining this morning, we talked a little bit about jobs before, but you've mentioned that you've already hired some of your staff, right?
Yeah, we've already got. I think I was working on payroll yesterday. We have 30 employees as of now. I've got another 5 that are going through our orientation today, and we have, I think, 2 more classes. So, we're probably going to have, starting off, anywhere from 35 to 40 employees. Most of those are full time. And then obviously as we grow from guest perspective, we will add on to that. So, when we're fully operational, probably looking at over 100 full-time employees.
Which is significant,
Yeah.
I would think, in this community. And you've been working with, I know, San Juan College, I believe, and maybe some of the other colleges and universities in the state to attract maybe some of their students to come?
Yeah, this again, and it's always a great experience, I think, is if we can be a part of partnering with like San Juan College as far as, so like the physical therapy assistant classes or nursing classes, CNA classes to do part of their
Their clinical rotations.
Their clinical rotations,
Right.
thank you.
Right. Which they need, right? They need some of that.
It's required, and that, number one, they get to interact with our guests and really learn how to be successful once they enter the industry, and really because I think from a therapy perspective and rehab perspective, we'll be able to provide a great setting for them to be successful in their careers.
Sure.
And with all clinical pieces, transitional rehab, you're getting experience not just on a med-surg floor as a nurse. I remember that's where you started. You're getting exposed to multiple different modalities and illnesses, so your training expands out quicker in a transitional rehab setting than it would in a hospital setting where you start off on a floor and then maybe go to a cardiac floor or a specialty floor.
Right. And so, again, you've got some of these folks on staff now. You'll start with these test guests in the next few weeks, I suppose, to bring them in and to kind of go through the care and see how your systems are working as then you kind of move forward in the next approval process, I guess, from the state who'll come in to make sure everything's running the way they expect it to run.
The way it should be.
And doors will open for regular guests and patients maybe sometime in April.
Yeah, I mean, we're optimistic that it might be towards the end of March, but some of that is depending on, the availability of the Department of Health and how quickly they can come out. But obviously we're excited to get going sooner rather than later, and obviously as we have a better understanding of where we're at, we'll be letting the community know as far as where we're at, and so that they're aware, obviously in communication with the hospitals and the medical providers and different things like that. And if obviously anybody in the public, if you're interested or you can always give us a call at any time, and we'd be glad to give you any updates on that.
Very true. And go by for a tour. You said that you are
Absolutely.
open for tours, and probably easier to do now than when your building is full of guests.
Anytime.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And once again, everyone, that phone number, we said we were going to repeat it, and I never did until right now, but I'm going to do that. 505-675-4545 is the best number maybe to call to get a hold of either one of you for a tour or more information or
Absolutely.
what have you. Wonderful. Thank you both for coming in this morning to talk about the new Wellbrook facility. Wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. My guests from Wellbrook Transitional Rehabilitation Facility here in Farmington and San Juan County. Back with more in just a moment here on KSJE. The time is 8:49.